Hi everybody, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. We are in my kitchen today because we are going to be sewing cloth napkins. Now, while this is not necessarily a difficult project, it is one which I have put off for several years. And it's something that's been on my list I really wanted to do but have not gotten around to it. This weekend we were doing our back to school deep clean here, and I came across these really pretty napkin rings in the drawer, and I'm like, what's the point if we're not going to use them? And I just kind of said out loud, made a little promise to myself, I am going to make some cloth napkins. I love to set a pretty table, and I think cloth napkins are the easiest way to jazz up a table setting. So in addition to this tutorial today, I kind of want to make a promise to you, and then maybe some of you will join me, that on the first of every month we're going to sit down and sew up a set of cloth napkins. So then by the end of the year, ideally next September, we are going to have a drawer full of beautiful cloth napkins that are perfect for the seasons, or you don't even have to go with a theme if you don't want. You could just pick out fabric you like. For today's project, I have selected a really fun navy polka dot. I thought this would be good for the holidays that we have that are centered around red, white, and blue. And I could add some red flowers to the table. But most of my house is decorated in gray and navy, so this really is going to be perfect for us year-round. So to start, you just need an 18-inch by 18-inch square of fabric, which I cut with a rotary cutter. And I am using wideback 108-inch cotton. Out of a yard, I was able to cut 8 napkins, which is going to end up making each napkin cost about $1.99, which is really fabulous. And besides having some really awesome napkins and a beautiful table setting, wouldn't these make brilliant gifts? Wedding gifts, housewarming gifts. You could create a little goodie basket for someone that's not feeling well and put in some cloth napkins and some tea, some chicken noodle soup. I just think they're amazing, and like I said, I really should have made them by now. So I'm assuming you've now cut out your squares. The next step, the iron is essential for this project. So go around each square and press down the corner a ½ inch, okay? I do have a little ruler I brought in and apparently lost. There it is. Okay, just make sure for you. Okay, right from the finished edge of that fold to the top of that corner is 1 inch. All right, so across there is 1 3/4 inch. I did not measure when I ironed. I just took that and folded it right over. So I went around the corners and I pressed all 4 corners up. That's the first step. And then the second step is to take each edge and press that over so that it aligns with the corner of the edge which you folded down, okay? And then the next step, so this one you can see, I went all the way around and pressed that edge, and that came up 3/4 inch. Okay, so I went all the way around the edge, and then I opened that edge up and brought the raw edge of the fabric in to meet on that original press line, okay? Now I'm creating a very narrow hem here. I did use a steam iron, and my fingers really are accustomed to the heat. However, they were even getting a little hot. So I had to turn down the iron. So I would suggest using the lowest steam setting you can get on your iron, and this project will be much more pleasant for you. But there is the hem, and it looks really nice. It's kind of like a little mitered corner there. And I have one here where I've gone all the way around, and you'll see here that there would be a little smidgen of that corner poking out, and that is really fine. After you stitch it, if you must, you can trim that, or after a couple washings, it's just kind of shrink up in there anyway, so you really don't have to worry about it. So I have my napkin ready to sew. Now I like to start in just a little bit off of this corner so that the machine doesn't kind of eat that corner down into it. Sometimes that happens because this is, you know, it's only cotton weight and there's no interfacing. So for me, I start in just a smidge away from that corner, and as we come around, we'll capture all of that anyways. So I'd say I'm about a ½ inch in, and I'm going to, the goal is to stitch right down that narrow hem, right down the center of the narrow hem, and I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and end. Now, as I approach this corner, my needle is in the down position. That's going to allow me to pick up this machine foot and just pivot. If your machine does not have a needle down function, just simply turn your hand wheel so that that needle's down in the fabric. It's going to allow you to keep your hem nice and straight. And I just reinforce with a back stitch to finish that nice. And then all I have to trim, because I never broke that thread, are these 4 threads at the beginning, which was technically the end as well, where it started. All right, yay, that looks good. Okay. So now you can see here the little corners that I was talking about. They're just there, and they really don't bother me at all. But if you wanted, you could carefully get in there and trim that out. I don't think anyone's gonna notice. So I have this totally fun, very professional napkin now. This is the first of 12 sets of napkins, and I'm counting on you to remind me. I've got a note in my calendar that on October 1st I should be sewing napkins. So the goal is that I have this amazing collection at the end. So let's see how they look with my napkin holders. Aw, that's so fun, right? And tonight when I set the dinner table, everybody's just gonna be like, wow. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I will be back next week with another inspired project. I never know what it's gonna be. I truly just wait for inspiration to strike. Until then, the creative genius in me salutes the creative genius in you.